This is Undergroundopolis.
Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Ace. I'm the lead guitarist and backing vocalist for Withered Veins, a grunge band out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
When I checked out the music, I thought I kind of put doom, sludge, but yeah, grunge too. I was like, it's the Halloween costume meme. It's a doom and sludge.
Oh yeah. Well, that was this new album that we have coming out. It's called Advanced Decay, and it's gonna have some of those influences more prevalent than we have in the past, I would say.
Right on, man. So this is going to be a full-length record.
Yes.
Well, to give me the Withered Veins story.
Okay. So we started out in December of 2017. I'm the original member, if you will. I was the one that got everybody together. I was working at Sweetwater at the time, and any of you musicians listening to this, you'll know Sweetwater. So I was working in the warehouse in there, and I found a guy to play drums and a guy to play bass, and I met a guy through one of my Facebook groups to do vocals. And so we started, like I said, December 2017 is when we formed. I am the only remaining original member. All those guys have since moved on to different projects, so that's kind of how we got started.
Well, tell me let's talk about the Advanced Decay. How many songs we got on it?
We got 12.
12?
Yep.
So was Bullseye and Subhuman, are those your records too? Are those singles or?
Those are singles. So, those are both on our Downward Dogma. That is our first, and, to date only, LP. And then we had in 2020, or, spring of 2019, we released an EP called, When Blood Runs Cold. So that has Withered Veins, our self-titled track, and it has Pointless Thoughts on it. And then the ones you mentioned, Bullseye and Subhuman, those are both singles leading up to Downward Dogma, which was released in November of 2020. We originally were just going to have 3 singles. I usually just do 3 singles for a full-length album. And then everything got pushed back with the pandemic, and so we we decided to release a couple more singles just to keep some interest in our stuff up. And so then we ended up tacking on, since we didn't want to do 5 singles for a 12-track album, so we whipped up 3 more tracks for it. And so that was our 15-track album that, like I said, got released in November 2020. So here on, I think it's the 14th or 15th, which is my birthday, it's going to be 2 years.
Hey, you've been at it a while. I didn't realize that much. There's that long.
Yeah.
It's like, what? So, well, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
26.
I'd say you sounded pretty young. So
Yeah.
if you could narrow down somebody as like someone you saw at a concert or even on TV or whatever, and you said, I want to do that, I want to play music, who would that be? And you could have more than one answer, it's okay.
That's an easy one. That would be Alice in Chains.
Well, really? Did you see them
yeah.
live?
I have not. I was going to, and then this was in 2018, right after we formed the band. They had just released Rainier Fog, and they were doing the supporting tour, and they were going to come to South Bend, which is like an hour from Fort Wayne.
Right.
And then 2 days later, they were going to be at Rock on the Range in Columbus. And it just so happened that about 2 weeks prior to that, I got a job at GM, and I wasn't able to go because I was getting hired on as a temp, and they don't like to, with it being a big factory job, they're not big on letting people take time off when they just started, so I wasn't able to go. I was pretty pissed, but whenever they come back around to Fort Wayne or to Indianapolis or Detroit or something, I'm definitely going to go.
Oh my gosh, I had tickets one time. This was the Dirt tour. So that's how long ago it was. They were going to play somewhere in Lexington, which is where University of Kentucky is. And like my buddy and I, we lived way over in Western Kentucky, but 3-4 hour drive. We were at a party. We were drunk as hell, and his girlfriend called from UK, said, I got you tickets from a scalper. And we left this party and drove all night. and we get there and find out Layne Staley had overdosed. It is and the rest of the tour was canceled. I'm pretty sure it was a Dirt tour. It had to either be a Dirt or Sap or something, but it was right there in that time.
92, yeah.
Yeah, it was like we weren't old enough to be drinking by any
Man, I tell you what, if I could go back and see them during their heyday, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but one of the singles that we released on Downward Dogma was called Lost Voice. And that was a tribute to Layne Staley, that song was, because he was such a big inspiration on me. And what I did was, I have Photoshop, and I went to school for graphic design and shit, so I do all that shit myself. And so I took a screen cap of him in the music video for Woods, and I did like a silhouette of it, and then I did the background had like a radial kind of thing, and it had pink and purple from the Unplugged album cover. So that was my tribute to him. That we released that one during the pandemic, and because he was, like I said, he was such a huge influence on me. Him and Jerry Cantrell both.
What is your favorite song to play live right now?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I like playing all of them. I'd probably say Subhuman, just because that one's our most popular song, and it typically we start the show with it, and people tend to really get down with it, and it's it's a deeply personal song, and so it's really fun to play.
So why is it personal? Is it okay we discuss that?
Yeah. So, I wrote this one actually back in 2019. I had seen people on the internet, people that I knew, comparing being in the LGBT community to bestiality, and really irritated me. And, so once I was able to gather my thoughts and put them into words, those lyrics came out in, I don't know, half hour maybe. It just flowed out of me, and so to see that people enjoy my song, that I put a lot of not necessarily in terms of time, hard work, but a lot of emotion into it, then, that's definitely something special. You definitely don't get the impression that that's what it's about. When you read the lyrics, it's kind of one of those ones where you almost just have to ask me like you just did.
What would you say your favorite show you ever played was?
I would say we did I hope I get this right because we played with we played with a few bands that we're good friends with a few different times. But there was one show that we played here in Fort Wayne, and it was at a place called O'Sullivan's. It's a really popular bar here in town, and we played with a band called the Paper Heart, which is our original singer. That's his band going way back, like 10 years. He formed that band. And then there was one with a pop punk band called Cedar Street that we've become good friends with. And so we each had an hour long set, and it was a pretty packed out place, and it was just a good time all around.
Yeah, so Paper Heart and Cedar Street, if you're listening, you need to become guest on my show. I'll just throw in a little shameless plug there.
Definitely, I will definitely let them know.
Cedar Street, it just first thing I thought was Gigi Allen.
I don't get the reference. You'll have to explain that one.
Because he had female backup singers at one time called Cedar Street Sluts. That's the first place my mind went.
I don't know. I guess I never bothered to ask where the name comes from. I don't know if one or multiple of those guys grew up on a Cedar Street or what, but it's a pretty fitting name for a pop punk band.
Yeah, it is.
Pop punk band, I would say. You'd think of something like that for a band like that.
Well, here's the counter question. Could you narrow down your least favorite live show? This is one of my favorite questions.
Yes, I can, and it just happened recently. It was our first show outside of Indiana. And we went up to Detroit and played a place called Corktown Tavern. And being originally from Michigan, I was super excited to go to Detroit. I grew up about an hour from there, so not super familiar with it because we didn't go up there all the time, but it was still kind of felt like a homecoming to me. And then literally nobody showed up. Like I didn't know this ahead of time, but I guess the bar that we played at has kind of rebranded, and they went from being appealing to like the bikers and the metalheads to trying to appeal to the hipsters, and people didn't like that, and so they kind of boycotted it. And so I mean, it was early September, a Saturday night, and nobody showed up, and I was just stunned. And I will say it's not entirely their fault because I don't think that I don't think I did a good enough job of promoting it in the areas where it could have helped. But I will say that I don't think anybody did a good enough job of promoting it. And then I think just the area of town that it was in too, it wasn't really on the main drag. It was right next to Tiger Stadium, and it's there's not a whole lot going on there after hours. So it was just kind of a perfect storm of things that led to that. So I've definitely learned from that. Next time we go to Michigan, we're going to do a lot better job.
Yeah, it happens, man. It's hard to get people out, especially if they don't know who you are. It's really hard, and plus it's Detroit. You're lucky you still had tires on your vehicle. I don't guess it's all bad, but I don't know. There's plenty of bad parts to it.
Oh yeah, I mean I will say that like the part of town that we were in, even though there wasn't a whole lot going on, it wasn't like 8 Mile or anything like that.
Right.
So, it was pretty well lit. They had little like the old school street lights, or it looks like the lantern on the post. They had those all the way down. It was a cobblestone street. There just, like I said, there just wasn't much going around it. So, you know, it was definitely better than some of the parts of Detroit. But we'll definitely find a better venue next time we go out there.
Oh, man, if you could get somebody like to get on a bill like the Trash Brats or like Jeff Dahl or somebody there, man, that would be awesome.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Dahl, he never got big in the United States, but he got big in like Sweden and stuff. But he was a Detroit punk rocker. Like
okay.
Nobody in America hardly like he's definitely not a household name here. It's like he's pretty big there. So are the Trash Brats. They're freaking awesome. You said you worked at Sweetwater. Did you have to receive boxes and boxes of candy or?
No, that wasn't. I wasn't receiving, but I didn't do that. I just did, you know, a bunch of all the instruments and everything. I didn't do drum kits or guitars because drum kits were pretty complex, and then guitars were they had to be received differently into the system because they all had a serial number, and so we couldn't just, you know, put them on a skid when we were done and have them go to the thing. And then they also had to sit in the warehouse for, I think, 24, 48 hours to acclimate to the conditions inside there, so the wood didn't warp or anything like that. So they always had the most experienced guy doing that. I was only there for a year, so but I can tell you, I learned so much about you know, the different brands of guitar picks and strings and harmonicas and all that different stuff.
You played at the Ruin, which I thought had shut down.
No, I think it was Skeletons, and that shut down, and then it became the Ruin.
Oh, so it's in Fort Wayne.
Yes.
Yeah, Skeletons. I was going to ask if that was still around. Skeletons. Well,
yeah.
I've never been there, but I had several people to tell me, you should go up there, and I never did. But I was thinking the Run was like in Greensburg or something. And
oh no.
So I thought I thought maybe it had opened back up. But so it's a different Run, okay. But you played with a local favorite here, the Dead Speak.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with them, and they're called Ulm. It's a French name. They're from Quebec.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were doing like a whole U.S. thing, so they are what you would typically think of like sludge and stuff. So they were really super heavy, a lot of guttural vocals and all that. That was that was pretty intense. I was a big fan of the Dead Speak as well. I really liked what they did, and we kind of hit it off with them, and it was cool to see them go all the way to fucking Seattle and all that stuff. So.
Getting off on different tangents here. I hope you don't mind. It's just fun talking to you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm all about. I find myself rambling too, so it's all good.
But we are approaching that time. Get me everything you want to plug in before we wrap it up.
Okay. So, like I said, the album is called Advanced Decay. It is, as you saw in the meme, for people that don't follow our socials, grunge, but with doom and sludge elements, and then there's a couple tunes in there that have some different stuff going on. There's one that has like a Latin feel to it that I'm pretty excited about. That one's called Take You Home. That one's going to be our third single we released right before the album. And then our other material is When Blood Runs Cold. This is our first EP, and then Downward Dogma, which is our full length.
Okay. Are these available on vinyl or cassette or CD or?
We have CDs. We don't have vinyl or cassette, and then they can be found on all your streaming platforms as well.
Do all of you sing?
Just me and the bassist. The bassist is, I guess I should give the names of the guys. So it's, David Wynn is the bassist and the lead vocalist. And then, like I said, my name's Ace, and I do guitar and backing vocals. I do some lead vocals. And then our drummer is Nick DeGunya. He doesn't do any vocals there.
Well, because playing drums and singing is hard.
It is. It is. I've only been in one band, and it was with my best friend where he was actually a drummer and he sang. So yeah, I get it. It's super hard to do.
The final question: what would you say the best musical advice you've ever been given was?
It's a good one. I would say that you just have to get out and network. You know, if you want to make it, you know, outside of your city and outside of your state and, you know, make some decent money playing original music, you just got to go out and go to shows and network with people and meet bands and venue owners and, you know, maybe there'll be some, you know, at one show there was a guy that was like an AR type, and so, yeah, just networking is huge.
That is all our time we have for now. Thank you for listening to Undergroundopolis. Remember, we do this every Wednesday night, bringing you new and exciting artists every week. Be sure to hit up their websites and social media, and stream or download their music. If you like this show, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, any streaming platform, and leave us a review as well. I'm your host, Rob Lyon, signing off.